Good evening to the bearded brethren of the No Shave November Evangelism Challenge. Tonight, now that I do know my dates, of course, it is November the 10th, 2025, the anniversary of the birth of Mr. Martin Luther. So all the Lutherans out there, give you a thumbs up. Also, well, any Protestants, I suppose, will give you a thumbs up there. I think even some Roman Catholics see lots of value in him. But anyway, let's talk about today. Today, guys, okay, yesterday was difficult. Tonight's going to be worse. Okay, so tonight, I'm not going to skip over this. I want to do Matthew 5, verses 31 and 32. Okay, and you'll know why there's trepidation here in just a second. Here's the reading. It's very short. Because we talked about lust last night. Tonight, it was also said, so he's just talked about lust and how that's adultery. It was also said, says Jesus, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. As we've been saying, that was in the law of Moses. If you found something unpleasing about your wife, you gave her a certificate of divorce. It's in the law of Moses. You send her on her way. But here's what Jesus says. It was also said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. But I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife, except on the ground of sexual immorality, makes her commit adultery, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Ow. The reason I say that, of course, everyone watching this knows. Divorce is a reality, okay? It happens all the time, right? We've known that. And there are some good reasons. There are some good biblical reasons for divorce. Even Jesus says here, sexual immorality, and we tend to think of that like, adultery and things like that. Even Jesus says, okay, in those circumstances, it's okay. You can divorce. That person, whoever did that, has broken that bond to a point where you can dissolve it without sin. The Apostle Paul also says, and I did not look it up, I wish I had, I'm sorry. He basically says the other biblically sound reason for divorce is spousal abandonment, the unbelieving spouse that abandons the believer. You're like, well, why are you talking about this in No Shave November Evangelism Challenge, right? I get it. But let's think about this, guys. Christians, okay? Christians. I cannot quote the statistics to you. I have heard statistics, and I wonder if you have too, that, in fact, divorce is actually just as common now within the church, within the Christian community, as outside. So, evangelistically, people, our marriage is supposed to mirror the love that Christ has for his church. It says so. It's like, I am, as a husband, I'm to love my wife as Christ loved the church and give myself up for her. And my wife is supposed to love me, right? It is supposed to be like that. We're to be one flesh. And it's to be that way because it's supposed to be indivisible, just like the love that God has for us and the love that Christ has for us. He's not going to abandon us. Oh, and my dog's coming up to say hello. Hi, Dolly. Say hello, Dolly. Oh, no. Her love doesn't abandon us either. Dolly loves the people. Anywho, sorry, Dolly. Thank you. Okay, so here's what I want to say here. Divorce is probably either you've been divorced, my parents were divorced, okay? I'm coming from a household of divorce, multiple divorce, actually. So I'm not saying, my parents never got divorced, blah, blah, blah. Yes, they did. But our marriages should preach. Does that make sense? When the outside world looks at a Christian marriage, they should be able to see that level of sacrificial love, one for the other. Now, here's what they shouldn't see. They shouldn't see anger and manipulation and the man walking all over his wife, making her serve him and ignoring her needs. No, he is supposed to give himself up for her. And then she is supposed to, in turn, love and honor and respect her husband, right? It's hand in hand. It's both. So what do we do with this? What do we do with divorce? Here's what I'll say. Whatever your past is, we're not worried about past, okay? We're worried about today and tomorrow. So if you've been through divorce, especially if it wasn't for the reasons we've talked about, we're not worried about that. Because you know what? There's redemption and there's forgiveness. Period. Full stop. Okay? But if you are married now and you are struggling in your marriage, not for issues of infidelity or abuse or anything horrible like that, kind of spousal abandonment issues like that, but just those issues of we're not getting along, we're growing apart, we fell out of love or whatever else our culture likes to give us, here's the biggest thing I can say. Please, 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 please get marriage counseling. And not only just regular marriage counseling, please get pastoral counseling. Because our marriages should preach just as loudly as anything else we do as Christians. My marriage is not perfect, and it's mostly my fault, right? But our marriages are sacred and beautiful. They are to mirror that level of Jesus will never give up on us. We will never give up on our spouse. Okay? So if you are currently in that situation of dealing with those things, not, like I said, not physical danger, emotional danger, infidelity, but those other reasons, please try your best to work it out, because your marriages preach just as much, and not if not louder, than your words in the gospel. The unbelieving world should look at us and say, how is your love different? How is it you're able to stick this out? How is it you're able to see the best in each other over and over again? Because this is part of our faith. And as I said, if you've been divorced, that's not the point. I'm not saying, well, you've been divorced. That's it. No. It doesn't matter. That's in the past. I'm talking about today, tomorrow, in the future. These are important things. And they're tough things, guys. This is so hard. Okay? This is so hard. Please, your marriages are worth it. Your families are worth it. The gospel is worth it. Talk to each other about this. Talk to your spouse about this. Talk to your friends about this. Love one another. And let's let our marriages preach the good news of Jesus Christ to a broken and hurting world, where there are tons of people out there that are broken because of these things. And let's love one another through them. All right, that was a little long and that was pretty tough, but it's worth it. Let's see where we land tomorrow.